Okay, this is Chris Rennirt from Space Jockey Reviews here at the Romano's Macaroni Grill in Louisville, Kentucky with Lien Mya Nguyen, and I'm doing an interview with her. We have just finished dinner, and Mya is a model, actor, producer, a talk show host, a singer, and I'm sure a lot of other things I don't know yet, but we'll find out soon enough here. So, did you enjoy your dinner this evening?
Oh, it was lovely. Thank you. It was really good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, first question I have is what first got you into acting and the entertainment industry? Your modeling, acting, and singing, and
that's a lot of questions into one.
Oh, okay.
Let's just say when I was a lot younger, my family loved to watch these Chinese movies where they fly back and forth and fighting with swords and everything. And you know, I know there are actors and whatnot, and like, you know how like in first grade, every kid, you know, when your teacher asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Someone will be a nurse, I want to be a doctor, I want to be, you know, this and that. But no kid has ever said I want to be an actor. And I was only 6 years old, and I said, I want to be an actor. And the teacher looked at me like I was crazy, and I was like, and there she was like, well, do you even know what that means? I was like, yeah, I get to fly around and fight. But ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor, and that's how I ended up acting. I mean, but I started out as a model is because, you know, in Vietnam, my parents were like, you know, you should go modeling, and because we took really good pictures, I guess. I was photogenic, and they threw us in like this agency where they took classes and whatnot, and I took some courses, and like the first month I was in the agency, I had my first contract, which was a spokesmodel for 1 year with Cal and Sifone, and you know, after that, more commercials come after you have your face out there, obviously. But yeah, that's how I started.
Okay. And who are some of your influences or role models?
To be honest with you, in this industry, I see a lot of people that has things that I would want to, you know, follow up with, but I really don't see that one person that I want to be like when when I get further in the career. I just want to be myself. I want to be different. I don't want to be like anyone else. Right. Of course, you know, I'll pick up this and there, a little here and that, but I will not be like someone else.
Right.
But my role model was my deceased sister and obviously my deceased father. Just the fact that they're really nice people and they don't give up on what they want.
Right.
So that's me.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about some of the many different things you have going at the moment here, and we'll start off with you are on the book cover. You're on a book cover and a T-shirt for a book series called The Legend of Buffalo Star.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Wendell and Christopher Miller are the writers to that, and I became friends with Chris quite a while back. I can't even imagine how long back, but Wendell is his partner. You know, they write together, and Chris obviously has his own book, and this is The Legend of the Buffalo Star is Wendell's. And after Wendell became friends with me from Chris introducing us, Wendell decided he loved my pictures and they're perfect for, you know, his book covers, and there was like he says it's just like how his book is, so he wanted to add me to the book covers, and that's how it became the book cover. And you know, he also has another book coming up, which is like he said is probably going to be out in January or February, but it's called A Woman's Secret. And I'm also on the cover to that as well, and Wendell's the writer to that. And of course, you know, Wendell just started having T-shirts out, you know, promoting, you know, the Legend of the Buffalo Star. And oh, by the way, he did message me and say, which one did you want? And you know, obviously, you said you wanted the one with me on it, so I told him that. So.
Oh, okay. And you have just started a podcast show and with John Gender.
Yes.
It's the Horrifying blog. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
He's from the Horrifying
Right.
blog.
And it's called the Contagious Podcast Talk Show. So tell us a little about that.
Well, John and I had, an interview kind of like this, audio and whatnot, and on his podcast and for his Horrifying blog. He wanted to interview me, and we talked about a lot of things, and we clicked immediately because we liked a lot of the same things. We liked horror stuff, and of course zombies, obviously. And we started talking, and then, ideas came up, and we were like, okay, let's do this pod talk show. And instantly that night, I made the Facebook page for it, and then the next day I made a blog for it, and then we just went from there. We had our first podcast show yet last week, and it went great. And then we just kept going, and it's amazing. It's a lot of fun. You get to know a lot of people. You get to talk about everything. Like I talk a lot, obviously, if you haven't heard yet. And it's perfect for a podcast talk show. If you talk a lot, and I try not to over talk people, but both of us talk a lot, so it works perfect. I try not to have like more than 5 seconds of silence in a podcast, because that 5 second can make people fall asleep. So with my talking ability, I keep a show going. It's a lot of fun, and John is amazing. He's a lot of fun to talk to, and he's pretty much like a little kid. We're both like little kids talking about something we like. It's like talking about candy. Let's go Halloween, and then what kind of candy do you like, kind of thing. So it works out great.
Yes, I've listened to this talk show myself, and it is really excellent. Definitely check this out. Do you know the next topic?
We have tried every week to do the Walking Dead talk show, because The Walking Dead is the most popular TV series right now, and everyone watches it, everyone loves it. So we get a lot of views from that talk. The next one, I believe, I was planning on having an interview with Eddie Brown, but some schedules didn't work out very well. But since I'm here in Louisville and gonna be in Dallas next week for the Camera Phone movie premiere, so I kind of can't be there for this week's talk show. But I'm pretty sure he's talking about Supernatural and The Walking Dead while I'm gone, while I'm away. Right. Okay.
Now this talk show is at valor23.blogspot.com.
No, that one is the Horrifying blogs. Ours is the contagious.blogspot.com.
Okay. All right, so check that out there then. You also are a comic book character. It's Chio from
Blood Drive.
This is a vampire, a pure form vampire, or an original breed. That's what I read.
It's a pure breed. It's one of the originals, one of the first. So it's very strong, and it has a lot of powerful abilities and whatnot. And it has a pet. Not quite sure exactly what breed it is, because it looks like a dragon and a bird at the same time. But Dennis Willman is a very, very, very great artist. He draws everything from scrap, and then he adds digital painting later. And he started. He has his first one was called Ginger Sign, and it's doing really well, and it's amazing. This one will be his second one. The comic book is called Blood Drive. My character myself is called Chio, which stands for Eternal. Okay. Because she's a vampire.
Right.
But it comes out next year. Hopefully it'll come out before Comic-Con, so when we have some, we can be there to sign whatever.
And I know you have a Facebook page for the Chio character also.
Yes, I do.
So check that out, definitely. That's a good one to check out and like for sure. You also have, and I'm also very excited about this because I will be there, of course, a movie premiere coming up this Monday, the 29th in Dallas, Texas, and that is for Camera Phone. You have a significant part in that movie, I believe. You are on the wanted posters that I have seen.
I'm still wanted.
Right, as the missing girl there, who is a suspect, and also I'm sure there's a lot more. Tell us a little more about that.
Well, Camera Phone was it was based on a true event. back last year, and this year, you know, footage started leaking out, and you know, my friend, which is the director as well, Eddie Brown, he decided, okay, you know, with all this information, we should put this together and get this, you know, shown to the world, and let's just do this. And then I was like, okay, well, let's do this. And then we started throwing castings out, and we started looking for people, and then we gathered people together and whatnot, and we tried filming everything in 3 days. Like, surprisingly, this is an 80-minute movie, and we filmed it in 3 days, which was really tiring because we had so many things happening, and our PAs didn't show up, so I was the only production manager, as well as, you know, the person that can run around to get the cast together and get actors signed in and out, you know, run around, get food, you know. Ray Tarrant, which was also the photographer there, and also the executive producer, also my best friend, was there. Thank God he was there with me to help me get food, and with little things here and there, because if I didn't have him, I don't know what I would do. But since, you know, so much has happened, and I didn't have much help behind the scenes, and we need the behind the scenes, you know, the stuff behind the camera done so we can get the rest of the movie filming. So I discussed with my director friend and said, hey, Eddie, I think we should cut some of my part out. Let's just get this movie going, because there's no way I can act and do everything in behind the scenes while, you know, you guys are doing your job. I have to do like 6 people's job. So I was like, you know, he didn't want to cut my scenes out, but we didn't really have a choice. So we kind of cut a few of my scenes out, but you know, we have a decent amount in there.
Okay. Yes, I am very excited about seeing this movie myself.
Well,
yes,
you will this Monday with me.
Right, I certainly will, absolutely. And you can also check out my website at SpaceJockeyReviews.com, where I have posted an article about that. You can see the trailer there, so check that out. And you mentioned Ray Tarrant. He does some excellent photography that I have seen, and as a matter of fact, he has done some of the photography for the photos I've used for Space Jockey Reviews as for Space Jockey Mya.
Yes.
And so, yes, that's another thing I'd like you to talk about, of course, is your Ray Tarrant.
He's great. He's an awesome photographer. He started seriously getting into business this past year. He's my main photographer, and I'm his main model. You know, not, you know, exclusive, like no one can shoot us or have a shot, but we spend time, you know, take out time to be able to photo shoot here and there with each other, you know, make out new works and projects and whatnot. But yeah, he's a really great photographer, you know. If you haven't seen my page, then you should go check it out, because some of his work is phenomenal. Like you look at, you're like, oh my God, I don't look that pretty. And it's like, oh my God, what did he do? He loves to work with shadow. He's also executive producer to Camera Phone, and he's working on another movie called Silhouette with an award-winning, you know, director, Akil, and it's going to be filmed in Tallahassee, Florida. He's going to be the DP, which is pretty awesome too. So, you know, at the beginning when he first met me, all he did was photography. He didn't do anything serious, and then I started encouraging him. He got more into that, and then I got him into the film business, which I took him with me to Camera Phone, which is in Dallas. He filmed that, and then I introduced him to Akil, which for this movie. So I've been introducing him to like everything I do. I try to pull him in because he's awesome. He learns fast, and he's really talented, and he has a lot of great ideas. And I was like, what better to have a best friend that's just as talented, you know? And we work out perfectly fine. Everything I do, I try to pull him in because he's a great person to work with. Really funny person. And I pull him into the blogs, you know, the podcast as well. He's really good with podcasts as well. So I try to, he's pretty much in almost every project I work with.
And I'm sure you have enjoyed being Space Jockey Mya, right?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. A lot of people loved it, and thank you very much for adding me to it. It's amazing. I love it. It's just a lot of fun, just like being myself and being something else that I'm not.
Right, okay.
But it's really something different. A lot of people love it.
Okay, yeah, so check out Space Jockey Mya on Space Jockey Reviews. There is a Space Jockey Mya page, Mya News page, and a Lien Mya Nguyen page. So check all of that out. Some really interesting things to look at on my website for sure. Okay. What would you say is the most rewarding thing about the work that you do?
Just the fact that to be honest with you, just the fact that I'm part of a project and I get to run around like crazy is rewarding enough. If you get paid, awesome, doing something you like and get paid for it, but to me, the feeling, satisfaction of getting the work done, and it's great. That's rewarding to me. And everything else that comes along is even better.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I try not to expect so much, because when you expect something so much and then it doesn't happen, it's disappointing. But if you don't expect too much, you only expect a little, and then something else happens, it's like, wow, that's awesome. Right. But at the beginning, I just think, we got the work done, this is great. But if anything else happens after that, it's like a stimulation. It makes it even better.
Right. Okay. Great answer. Okay, related to that, what would you say are some of the greatest challenges that you have had in your life and with your work?
Challenges. The only challenges, to be honest with you, tests to everything. I feel like I have testophobia, but okay. I don't. But I didn't get tests, so I have no idea if I do or not. But every time I have a test in everything, I start shaking, and I don't have problems standing in front of a lot of people, millions of people talking, because I do runway fashion shows, and and I've had speeches, in front of everybody all the time, and I sing in front of everybody, so I don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to tests, like contests and whatnot, which, I've done a decent amount of contests, and of course I've won a title in every contest I've been at. But those were, even though when I entered these contests, I didn't expect to win. I always win something, but that's not the point. My point is, I don't expect so much from it, but it doesn't stop the feeling of, okay, I'm competing, I'm testing, I'm gonna fail. I don't like to fail. So the fear of failing, even though I tell myself I'm not gonna fail, I'm better than this, but it's still there, but it gives me more of a push to be better. And But yeah, those contests were pretty brutal for me. My first one was when I was 19, so.
And I believe you have won some beauty contests
yes.
in Vietnam, maybe?
My first beauty pageant was in Vietnam, in Hanoi. Miss Enchanter 2000, I won second prize.
Okay.
My next one was in 2000 as well. It was for Miss Aerobic 2000, and I won Miss Perfect Fit. In 2005, I won Miss Beaumont, Texas International. Okay. And then from Miss Beaumont, Texas International, they sent me to Miss Texas International 2005, and I won second runner-up.
All right. And I believe I read somewhere, maybe on Facebook, I'm not sure, but you talked about how the paparazzi were very...
yes. They're very aggressive. In Vietnam, it's kind of like here, but in Vietnam, it's kind of like, you know how celebrities don't get their personal time anywhere they go, if they walk with anybody, they get people taking pictures and then started making up stories and whatnot. That's what happened to me in Vietnam when I first won the second prize. Paparazzi were just following me. I couldn't have my personal time. I couldn't have fun with my sister and my friends. We were hiding out of the hotel when I first won the prize.
Wow.
They had to sneak me out. it's ridiculous because you can't even sleep because they're like, you can't even have a night walk because they're like outside waiting for you to come out. Because like when you win a prize, of course all the other girls that don't win, they're gonna make up stories, and then when they make up stories, these paparazzi is gonna want to find out if they're true or not, so they'll camp at your front door.
Oh wow.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's the story of my life.
So you were in the news quite a bit there, I guess.
Yeah. It was tiring.
Yes. Okay. And I've seen also on Facebook you are on the cover of some magazines.
Yes. I used to run my own magazine.
Okay.
It's called Effective Magazine. I used to do it like once every month, the first Wednesday of every month, but then like I got slammed with work. I started modeling again, I started acting, I started producing, I started doing so many things that I could not catch up with the magazine, so I had to put the magazine to a stop.
Okay.
So it's on pause right now.
Okay. But
yeah, I used to edit and everything on my own, so it was a lot of work. It was a full-time job.
Yeah. So what would you say, after doing all of these things you've done and you are still doing so much, what would you say are your long-term goals with everything you're doing?
I really would like to keep acting and producing all my life until I pass away.
Oh, okay. Well, that's...
modeling, obviously, you have a certain limit to when and how. I know I'm getting old.
Oh no!
But
no, not at all.
Thank goodness I don't look like it.
No, she sure does not. I can tell you that. Absolutely not.
But you know, modeling has always been just, you know, a board for me to step on to start acting. And acting and producing movies has always been something I like to do. Production management, you know, behind the scenes, behind, you know, all this craziness on set with a movie is what I love to do. Film business has always been something I have the most interest in, so I'm hoping I can stay in there for a long time. And the podcast, obviously. I enjoy the podcast so much because there's so much inside you hold after you watch a movie or something, you want to talk to someone.
Right.
And you know, obviously we don't want to spoil alert for anybody on certain things, so we always say ahead of time, okay, if you haven't watched this, don't listen to our podcast. Wait till after you watch it, then listen to our podcast, because some people haven't watched The Walking Dead yet, and we don't want to spoil it for them. So, you know, it's awesome that you can talk to another person about it and let it out instead of holding it in, saying, oh my god, I want to talk about this so much, but I can't because I don't want to ruin it for somebody or someone hasn't watched it. So the podcast is the perfect thing to let me, you know, let out steam like I am right now, because I'm non-stop talking. Right.
Oh well, I mean, it's all very good stuff. So do you do many interviews, or have you interviewed a lot of people? What I missed.
I've interviewed a decent amount of people back then when I was doing for my Effective magazine. We're starting to interview a lot more on the podcast. We're setting up like we have a list of people to interview for our podcast, a Contagious podcast. And when I get home, we're gonna start interviewing a lot more people. That would be a lot of fun, obviously.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of people would probably hate me interviewing them because I would ask the weirdest questions that they're not prepared for.
Oh, okay.
Because on the podcast talk show, we kind of said, when I was talking about The Walking Dead, so many things I talked about, and Ray and John were like, oh, I didn't think about that. So I asked them some questions. They're like, I didn't think about that either.
Oh, okay.
That's a hard question. I was like, yeah, not a lot of people's going to want to be interviewed by me.
Well, that sounds interesting, because I know I am going to be on your podcast show at some point.
So
and
be prepared.
So I will have to be very prepared for that, the unexpected. If you could give advice to people looking to get into the entertainment business, what would you say?
I would say at the beginning, just do it as a side job, or, you know, or just something you do on the side, because when you throw yourself into the entertainment business full on, you will struggle because you don't have money, you don't have anything, and you're gonna have fun, but at the beginning when you first start, you're not gonna make any money. Most of the time you'll be doing everything for free, and if you're expecting to do stuff to get paid only and only take paid gigs when you first start, you're not going to get anywhere because everyone has to start somewhere.
Right.
I was just lucky. A lot of people aren't as lucky, but you have to start from the scratch, from the bottom. You need to do, like, extra work and just, support roles and whatnot to slowly get up there, show people what you have. But you can't expect to just jump in and get famous. A lot of people do that and then they throw their full, I'm not saying don't throw your full on into it because I do it, but just you need to remember that to be able to do this, you need income.
Right.
Because sometimes it requires you to actually put money out. Like, you have to drive there, you have to get food and whatnot. So you can't expect to just jump in and be able to do everything like everyone else does.
Right. Okay. Well, with all of the things we talked about, which have been many at this point, loads of things, I've learned a whole lot. More than actually gotten far more information than I even thought I would, but with my questions. But I know that in most interviews there is something that the interviewer does not ask that the interviewee would like to say. So I'm going to ask you now, is there anything you'd like to talk about that I have not asked you? You can, anything as long as you like.
Let's see. So far, you've known so much about me, and
great.
you've listed everything that I've been doing in the entertainment business.
All right.
You're pretty good. You did your information research and everything. You got everything on the dot. You're good.
All right. I feel very good because this is the first one of these audio interviews I've ever done. So
you did a
that's
good job.
Really a very encouraging compliment there.
Kudos.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You would be perfect for my talk show.
All right. I can't wait. Believe me, I can't wait to be on there. I've got a lot of stuff to tell you.
About.
Yes, and I can be just as surprising as well with what I have to say because I'm also extremely honest.
Awesome.
When it comes to, I'll tell you whatever the truth is about it. Okay. Well, I guess that will conclude our interview with Mya Nguyen. And it has been it's been wonderful having dinner here this evening with her, and I'm really anticipate the movie, the camera phone movie, Monday.
And he will be reviewing the movie when he comes back.
Certainly will be reviewing that movie. There will be a post up there with photos from the premiere, and a full review will follow. It will be posted next week, I'm sure. So look for that on Space Jockey Reviews. So everyone have a nice evening, and
thank you for having me.
Yeah, all right. Okay.